So, what happens? What happens when you don't have this perfect balance, like most people in this room? Well, you look at the base, and you have hormonal imbalance, you have brain dysfunction, and you have poor nutrients. And that's how a lot of you feel now. And there's nothing embarrassing. This is the place to talk about it. So when people come see me, they're dragging, they're just going on this wrong path that we've been talking about. And it's so mysterious to them because everywhere they go to the doctor, they go to the internet, they go to an alternative practitioner, they try everything. They're in despair. Maybe just like I was, except I had doctor training, so I said, well, gosh, I have to figure this out. So they drag around, and they just don't get anywhere. So if this is premature aging, I said between 30 and 40 is advanced aging, but then between 40 and 50, it's like supercharged, accelerated, like we're headed to 50 like before you know it. So how can you take premature aging and get to the point where people around you and you don't see yourself aging this quickly? It has to do with taking you from this improper anti-aging triangle, in other words, imbalance, taking you back to your 20-year-old blueprint, like I described earlier. And in your world, it's what you pictured it when we first started. I asked you all to take a snapshot in your brain of what things were like. But that's what happens. And when people write those success stories, it's all based on this. In other words, I don't evaluate success based on a number. I look at their evaluation. And this is all done without energy drink stimulants and mood stabilizers. I can't talk about all that today, but if I did, it would certainly take up longer than we have. As I'm going through all this, I'm going to be mentioning solutions to you, and I won't be able to talk about individual ones, but you have a pen. Write down what the solution is that you're interested in for you or your family, and then when you see Deborah at the end, she can show you how we can help someone with it. Okay, so do write that down. So, how do you prove results? You measure things, you track them, and you repeat them. So, we have a scientific method. These people who had success stories, they're just not one-off. In other words, they just weren't the lucky, gamble, and they got better. The way you do this is you measure, you track, and you repeat. And what are we actually doing? It doesn't show up really well here, but these are lab tests. And when you go to the doctor, they're always ordering lab tests. And without really being critical, I'm not trying to hurt their feelings, but they're ordering tests, and when you go in to see them, they say, you're normal. Well, you're normal from age 5 to 85. I didn't have enough poster boards to go to 85, but as you can imagine, I'm sure there's a huge drop-off. Well, there is. And then the other thing, half the people I see that have good questionnaires, they're feeling good, they're already in hormonal imbalance. So the lab tests are not the whole thing. So you need expertise, someone to interpret them and understand what's going on. So you being normal between ages 5 and 85, that's just not right. So I do use lab tests, but I'm able to interpret them and figure out where you were at age 20. So that's secret number one. The other thing I look at, and you can read in my book, is called the fifth vital sign. I circled it, and you can't see it in the audience, but when you go to the doctor, you have blood pressure, pulse, temperature, and weight. That's great. But most of you may have pretty normal numbers like that. But I checked body fat percentage. And body fat is the largest hormonal organ in the body. And if you want to talk about cancer, inflammation, high blood pressure, the list goes on and on, body fat is the killer. It's not just a storage depot of calories. So I have designed ways of measuring it and tracking it. And interestingly, a lot of those people you see, they lose body fat and gain muscle. Very important. What about brain chemicals? Do you know that psychiatrists, neurologists, and family doctors, they don't understand that you can measure brain chemicals? They'll hand you a Prozac, they hand you something for sleep, but they're never looking and proving that you really need it. So if you take an antidepressant, first, it's going to cause sexual dysfunction if you're a woman. It's going to cause weight gain. It wasn't even designed for guys. Guys are just numb. It's not designed for it. But they'll never test these things. They'll never try to demonstrate that these are off, so they never know what to correct. So you go in, and they jack up the antidepressant, they add another one, they add something else to it, so you're snowed and you're numb all the time. So now women come to me and say, well, Dr. Moricz, now I'm sexless in fact. Great. Intracellular nutrition. There is a way where you can measure not only blood levels of nutrients, but you can actually see more growth inside the cells. The University of Texas sold this technology to a company, and what they do is you draw blood, but then it cultures yourself. This is actually mine. So I do testing, and I can show you what is missing in my body, and then I can specifically replace it. There's two major studies that people who take lots of megadoses of vitamins, they actually cause more cancer. What I do is I actually tweak it so that you're getting what you need and don't give you the things that work against you. Some vitamins can actually cause more harm. So we proved that as well.